has inaugurated the Presidential Economic Coordination Council, entrusted with the task of finding a way out of the current economic situation in Nigeria. This council will also complement the administration's efforts at re-engineering the nation's economic governance framework. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
President Bola Tinubu inaugurates this Presidential Economic Coordination Council with a mandate to stimulate growth in critical sectors of the economy that will translate into prosperity, food security and jobs. President Tinubu also presented the outcome of his review on the Accelerated Stabilization and Advancement Plan, which seeks to inject 2 trillion naira into the economy in the next 6 months.
To include power, oil.
This is expected to go a long way in easing the pressure on Nigerians groaning under the impact of what the government calls necessary economic reforms.
But I believe so much deeply in the organized private sector. The partnership to drive the economy of this country for reforms and stabilization that is necessary. Give the incentive where we must and leave the market to control the pricing mechanism and the consumption.
Sustainable practices to establish a resilient food system capable of meeting Nigeria's nutritional needs sustainably. Such a multifaceted approach not only addresses immediate challenges but also lays the groundwork for long-term socio-economic stability and prosperity.
The mandate of the newly inaugurated council is to ease the cost of doing business and to reduce interest rates for MSMEs and certain sectors.
A 2 trillion naira package involving 350 billion naira funding for health and social welfare, 500 billion naira funding for agriculture and food security, 500 billion for the energy and power sector, and general business support of about 650 billion.
The private sector will advise President Tinubu's administration on policy direction and also increase investments that will create jobs and economic opportunities.
This economy can be turned around within few months, and I think we're on that way. I must really thank His Excellency, Mr. President, for inaugurating this council.
For me, as the President said, it's good for Nigeria to be talking about food security, because it is time we put more food on the table and also at affordable prices.
President Bola Tinubu also emphasized his commitment to reducing losses in the crude oil sector and ramp up daily production to 2 million barrels. The newly inaugurated council comprises the current economic management team, the leadership of the legislature, the sub-national governments represented by the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, and the private sector. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Vice President of the Nigerian Irish Business Association, Aliyu Audu, joins me now to discuss this from Abuja. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 1. What's your take about the inauguration of this Presidential Economic Council, and how effective do you think it would be in achieving its goal?
Thank you very much for having me once again. Absolutely. We do need an economic council to advise the government, the federal government, on policies that should be adopted by the government in order to promote economic growth. So kudos to the president for inaugurating the committee. And comprising of the committee is the public and the private sector. I know Dangote is an astute businessman, and he has ears on the ground, and he would definitely be able to speak on behalf of the business community, as well as to Elumelu, who is a banker like myself. I believe those two choices will go a long way into, advising the government on policies that they will take that would be good for the economy. Recently, Dangote talked about, he complained about the high interest rate, which is obviously having an adverse effect on the business community. He spoke about that, and I think these are the kind of expectations we have from the economic team. They should be able to advise the government on policies they are taking, where they are going wrong and where they are going right. And the overall objective of the economic team is to stabilize the economy. So I think it's a step in the right direction. Thank you very much.
All right. And what do you consider as the immediate, strategies or the immediate counsel they need to give, considering complaints in recent time about the ease of doing business and the fact that some businesses have been folding up?
Absolutely. Yes, we are facing a lot of issues in the country currently. We have a high inflation rate. The food inflation is the highest in about 25 years. And, we are doing double digits, over 33 to 35% inflation now. That is a worrisome thing in the economy, because that means the disposable income is shrinking. Nigerians are suffering and Nigerians are complaining. And when such is happening, this is where we need the government to act and try to reduce the inflation through various economic means. And that is exactly where the new economic thing should look at, inflation. And also, let's look at the insecurities happening in the country. This is another aspect that affects other aspects of the economy. If farmers cannot go out to farm, recently we heard about farmers being attacked and killed in Plateau State. That is not helping either. So we need to.
Right, and Ali Audu is Vice President of the Nigerian Irish Business Association. Thank you so much for talking to us on the news at 1.